Author Life show. My name is MG Hunt, and today I'm here with an author who dives deep into a world of murder, mystery, and a touch of romance. So, welcome to the show, Pam Keevil. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here and I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you on the show. You know, you have been my second international guest so far, and we've been doing this for maybe a year now. So it's such an
Lovely.
honor to chat with another person who is outside of Australia. But as you were saying, we were chatting before, you have been to Australia as well.
I have, yes, and thoroughly enjoyed it and looking forward to coming again.
I'm so excited to hear that. So without further ado, we should get into some of the questions that I've prepared to ask
Go
you.
ahead.
And I would love if you could tell us all a little bit about yourself, your background, and where you grew up.
I grew up in a village just outside St Albans in Hertfordshire, and it really was an idyllic village upbringing. My friends and I, we would go out at 9 o'clock in the morning, we'd come back for lunch, we'd go out again, and our parents would be dragging us in out of the fields at sort of 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or as soon as it started to get dark. So I had this absolutely wonderful upbringing. I was lucky enough to get chosen to go to a grammar school, and I then went on to university. I actually studied in York. I went to York and I studied history for 4 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's
But then it was a time when there wasn't a lot of graduate jobs. And graduates, particularly arts graduates, you had social work, teaching, hospital administration, or the civil service. Well, I thought I'll go into teaching, but not secondary. I just wanted to I like being creative. So I thought,
yeah.
what job can you do where you can do music 1 minute, then art, then poetry, then maths, then science, then PE? Primary school.
Yeah.
So I went into primary education and I spent my career in primary education, ended up a head teacher. And when there was a reorganisation, I got the chance to go for redundancy. And I thought, hang on, if you don't do this now, if you don't start writing now, you've hankered after it, you've done it in bits, you've done short stories, you've done, do it now or just give up forever. So I took the jump and took the financial hit. Fortunately, I've got a partner who we've all the way through our lives, we've actually supported each other. So when he's needed to do courses or things, I've been the main breadwinner.
Yeah.
So he said, right, well, let's go ahead, give it a go. And so I thought I'd write for children. What have I been doing all my life? Working with children. Didn't work.
No.
Did not work for me at all. So then it was the time of 50 Shades of Grey. I thought, oh, I could write erotica.
Oh, that would be
So
interesting.
I did write a bit of erotica under a fake name. They've all gone off the internet now.
Interesting.
I thought, okay, it's not really that. It's not that. It's more, I thought, what, is it romance?
Yes.
So I tried writing a few romance. No. It's really the characters. It's the interplay between the characters and how they work, whether it's a love-hate relationship, a hate relationship, an envy relationship, jealousy, whatever it is. It's that interplay where two characters get together. And so that was really what set me off on the sort of novels I'm writing now.
Wow. That is very interesting to hear that you have had quite also a career for most of your life that isn't necessarily in the literary space that you are now, but still a creative one from what I understand. Yes. Yeah. Dealing with children every day.
And
yeah.
The interesting thing was being a primary school teacher, at that time, one of the things we were expected to do was to read a story at the end of the afternoon, have the children around you and have the serial story. Well, at the end of the day, kids can be a bit tired and you see them and they're nudging each other. So you had to keep them gripped. So I found that rather than reading the story, I was annotating them and almost telling the stories. And I got into the habit of, as soon as the bell went, oh, and we'll have to leave it for today, won't we?
Oh.
Actually, and getting the reaction, oh no, no, they were listening. The bell's gone. because yeah, they were listening. And it was that in that training has actually been very, very useful for me to be able to write in chapters of about
Yes.
3,000 words to
Ah,
actually end with a sort of page turner.
yes, which we
So
love.
that's always
Mm.
that experience has been actually invaluable.
That is so interesting that you've been able to marry that two up because I think that it does when whatever we do for our day job, my day job is a graphic designer. And so a visual representation of the characters that I make is really helpful for me with illustration. But I find that if you do want to pursue writing, there will be something that you do every day where you'll find a way to be creative or think about what you're doing
Mm.
to, I don't know, make it happen eventually. So that's really
And
interesting.
as a head teacher, every week I was faced with doing 3 assemblies.
Oh,
300 children is there sitting in front of you. You've got to keep them engaged somehow.
yeah.
You can't just magic up a story. If say you've got an incident in the school,
Yeah.
you can't just find a story. So you have to sometimes create your own.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did, created my own stories, which and then, so what are we going to do today? We're not going to behave like James and we're going
No.
to be different, aren't we?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, you had to be quick to improvise some strategies there. No, that sounds really interesting. So I can imagine now your days look quite a bit different from your
Yes.
primary school days, which
Mm.
leads me
Yes.
into my next question, which is what does a day in the life of Pam look like, or even a week, or whatever time schedule that you have with writing in particular at the forefront, I guess.
Now, with writing, it's usually over an annual phase because
Mm.
at the moment, I'm writing book 4 in the Mulroney series.
Yes.
2 are sort of semi-edited, they need a bit more tweaking, but I've set myself the task September to December, 1,000 words a day or 6,000 a week.
Wow. Yep.
And that gives me enough time to have days off and go places and things when
Yes.
I won't be able to. But probably by the middle of December, I will have 90,000 words,
Oh,
and this book
awesome.
will be finished.
That is
So
incredible.
that's the first thing. That's the priority to
Hmm.
get that 1,000 words done. And then once I've done that, the rest of the day is my own.
Yep.
And I can get onto social media. I can look at how I'm going to advertise. I can do the other things that I want to do, like going out, seeing friends,
Yes.
exercising, keeping fit, doing the general stuff that everyone has to do, like the washing, the cooking, the
Yes.
cleaning,
The boring
but
stuff.
keeping that balance, the boring stuff. But that 1,000 words, once that's out of the way, and then I can actually allow my unconscious mind to think about how I'm going to pick it up the following day.
Yes. I was just
Because
wondering that
although I've
too.
got it planned out
Thinking.
in a skeleton,
Yep.
so I've got a single sentence for each chapter
Ah,
with the different threads.
that's a great idea.
Um,
That's awesome. I love that. Yes,
Not
sorry.
my idea. I pitched it from somebody.
I'm taking
Yeah,
that.
just a single sentence for the different threads of the story. And so I know that tomorrow when I'm picking up on chapter 12, ah, oh, I've got to go back to Mark's family life now. Okay. But
Mm.
I'll be thinking about that and they'll be coming to me during the day. And I'll be thinking, oh, yeah, perhaps or I'll see something, or I'll see a person and think, I like what they're wearing. I wonder if I
Yes.
pinch that idea.
Inspiration from everywhere. I know that I'll be like that when
Yeah.
I'm listening to music and I'm doing the chores. Our brains don't
Oh,
stop.
yes. Yes.
Our brains just
No,
don't
they
stop
don't. No, they
thinking
never do. No, they never
about
do. No.
the characters and the stories. And it's just
Yeah.
like you do
Yeah.
become fixated on
Yeah.
it. I'm sure you're the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, the inspiration for this particular book, I was at a concert and there was the most beautiful, elegant gentleman. And could only have been in his early 20s, but he looked like a character out of a pre-Raphaelite painting. And he
Wow.
was engrossed in the concert, and his girlfriend or his partner wasn't. And she
That's a great
grabbed
story
phone.
starter.
And I thought,
Mm,
I don't think you're going to last.
no.
No. And I saw them walking off down the street together afterwards, and he was sort of very elegant, and she was sort of
Yes.
very edgy, gothy.
Yeah, not
So
interested. Yeah.
I thought, actually, can they be in my next book. And I thought, the sentence came to mind: if I can't have him, no one can.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is the beginning
And
of
that
interesting.
was the book. That's
Yep.
it. And everything else has been built around that.
Wow, that is fascinating. And that is for the start of It's an Ill Wind. Is that correct? For no,
No,
this is a
It's an Ill
different one.
Wind was another one. That it
Oh,
was, what do you do when you discover the man you're falling in love with
yes,
is
that's
the
right.
person who tried to kill you?
Which is so fascinating. I love that.
Mm.
I love how you've been able to pluck an idea from a chance encounter, pretty much,
Yeah.
where this concert was, I'm sure, had nothing to do with what you were thinking of for your next book or
Yeah.
something like that.
Nothing.
No,
Yeah.
and it happened. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
I always say you
Mm.
just can't
Yeah.
really, I don't know, like the inspiration will just hit you when you least
Mm.
expect in a lot of
Yes.
ways, and your mind just
Yes.
starts racing. That is,
Yes.
yes, fascinating. I find that, yeah, super interesting that you go to a annual sort of schedule rather than a
Mm.
weekly or
Yes.
daily one. But you do, I guess, have a daily habit or weekly with the 6,000 word count versus, I guess, like the yearly schedule that you've got. So I guess that gives you good parameters for
Mhm.
knowing, I guess, how long the
Mhm.
project will be because you say
Mhm.
you start in September
Yeah.
to December.
Yeah, September. Yeah, and
Yep.
then I'll put the book away, and
Yep.
I'll go and I'll forget about it for 3 months,
Yep.
and I'll pick up um one that I've already sort of shelved from last year, and
Yes.
I'll take that to my writers group.
Ah,
And I'm a member of a writers group on a Tuesday, and they're
perfect.
quite demanding. They are they're published authors,
Wow.
published poets.
Oh.
You were invited to attend.
Oh,
You can't just go up. You had to go
prove
along to a
yourself.
meeting with them, almost like an audition, and prove
Oh.
yourself that you were going to be, up to standard and be able to give good feedback as well, not just sit there and say,
Ah,
"Oh, it's wonderful."
how
So I take
exclusive.
1,000 words a week to this particular
Mm.
group and critique it. And
Yep.
then, of course, then one of the aims is to take on board what they've said and then to prepare the next 2,000 words for the following week. So it's a 3 month thorough editing
Yep.
process.
Yep. But it creates results. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes I wish I had more of a drive to stick to a routine. I do in my own practice, but only out of like necessity
Mhm.
to push
Yeah.
myself along.
Yes.
When there's
Mm.
so many other things going on with full-time
There
work
are.
and other stuff,
Yeah.
it's like that. But I
Yeah.
really like the idea that you have other people around you. Yes, it does sound a little bit intimidating, but you have people that are kind of holding you accountable in some way.
They are. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's super
Yeah.
interesting.
And
Mm.
in the writers group, there's some people are very apologetic. Well, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to do something for a couple of weeks, but we really all do try, and that it's
Mm.
quite a focused, 2-3 hours where
Yeah,
we're actually critiquing each other's work. Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
serious.
So after that, that's the sort of the major edit. Then it becomes the proofreading.
Yeah.
Oh, and the commas and the full stops. Oh, and then
Oh,
finally I've changed someone's name and I've spelt
yes,
it
a
differently.
different name. Or I'm guilty of getting someone's hair color wrong. I just had this
Oh
idea in my
gosh,
head.
yes.
And then I go, oh, that doesn't look, who is that again? I don't know. Oh gosh, back to the drawing
Mhm.
board with that. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah.
that's a really good idea because in the writing space, in the indie author space, a lot of people will reach out for beta readers and things like
Mm,
that to get critique from. And it is important, I feel,
mm,
to have another pair of eyes. I know that it's not everyone's, like, it is at the discretion a lot of the time of the timing that people will provide for that. And it's the same with
mm,
your writing group. This is something that
mm.
is a concerted effort from not only yourself but other people, so you're relying on that too. But it is amazing if you can get feedback from
Yes,
fellow people that are
yes.
interested in what you do and
Mm.
writing because it changes your perspective sometimes on
Does.
what
It
you do.
does.
Yeah.
And to have poets in the group. So we've got
Mm.
a number of people who are both poets and prose writers. One who is just a poet
Yep.
and who writes poetry in all sorts of different formats. But to get their take on individual words and the individual structure of phrases and sentences, and they'll say things like, do you really think that word is the right one there? Have you thought about trying something else? And it's because of that focus upon the quality of individual words that they bring to what we have, which is a broader brushstroke.
I love that. I think that is really interesting because poetry requires a lot more, I guess, not focus on the words that you use, but you have to be a bit more selective in a lot of ways
Yes.
because you don't want it to turn into a novel, which, maybe sometimes it can suit and maybe inspire a novel. But I think that's something I might have to seek out if there's any poets that I know that could read some of my work for me because they would offer an interesting perspective on manuscripts. That's for sure.
They do, yeah. They're very interesting, yeah.
You've given me some inspiration there.
And so after the boring bit,
Yes.
the full stops and capital letters, getting the cover, finding the cover, getting all the blurb bits done, and all of those things, and then it's up there on Amazon. Because now I'm doing it myself. I'm self-published. I did have a publisher for the first 2 books, but it didn't work out. So now I'm self-published.
Yep.
Then comes the marketing.
Aha. Shall we get into that? Because that is another beast of its own.
It is.
I think that is the bane of every self-published author. It's just so hard. And it's so... One thing I will say that the self-published community is vast and we do want to support people, but it is something that we all struggle with. And I think it's something that a lot of people, maybe in younger demographics, will chase the virality of social media to push out their books, but that can only get you so far, I've found, with retention of readers. So, yes, I'm curious to know your thoughts around it.
Yes. It is a challenge. First of all, though, is getting reviews, because there's only so many times you can pester friends and family, and even my ARC readers. I sent out all these copies, and I think 3 of them have done the reviews, and I can't keep pestering them. I feel I can say, remind them once, remind them a second time, and then I just have to say, okay. I know they will be devastated when they think that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I meant to do it. The thing is, I think it's as well, I'm absolutely, if I read a book now, I put a review on Goodreads and Amazon. Automatically. I do that whether whatever it is. There's always something positive you can say about a book, always.
Absolutely. That is so interesting.
So I always make sure I review. And so getting the reviews, once I've got sort of some reviews, then I can start thinking about advertising. And I use written word media, which used to be Old Book Club.
Okay.
They do very, very nice little adverts that go onto their distribution newsletter, which can go out to hundreds of thousands of people. Depending on the genre. And you can pay as little as $35 for inclusion in there. And they recommend doing that every so many months. Because people won't have picked up on the book the first time, but they might the next time. So I am now experimenting with all sorts of different advertisers.
Interesting.
Reasonably priced. I haven't got the budget for multi-million, thousands of pounds.
No.
But I found Literary Titan are a company who are doing video. And I think I paid, it was $150 for a 2-minute video, which I can use.
2 minutes.
And it is absolutely gripping. When I saw it, I thought, did I write that? Did I write the book that this is supposed to be about?
How amazing.
It was such a brilliant, it's like a trailer for a film.
I love that. And those are very captivating. Those are my favorite to watch because it will
Yeah.
give you like, oh, is this going to be a film? Oh, it's a book. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
something that's 2 minutes, you can chop that up, or maybe you could get the company to do that for you, make 30-second versions of it. And that can go on the Instagram Reels or TikToks or whatever for, the shorter content that seems to be sent out a lot
Yeah.
easier on the
Yeah.
algorithm.
Yeah.
But that is amazing. I love the
Yeah.
sound of that.
Yeah. So that's the challenge now, is to find a variety of
Yeah.
um advertising that are reasonably priced that I can keep doing over a sort of 2 to 3, 4 months period, just to get
Yeah.
some sales going.
Yep.
And because
Yep.
then, your attention's going to turn to the next book in the series.
Well, that's right. And I think that's one of the hardest parts for me to get to wrap my head around, where the timing will be, when do I stop marketing my current project and when do I start teasing the next one that's coming up? Because a lot of people will be interested to see, okay, what's next? What's next? And that
Mm.
seems to generate a lot more buzz when something is new and refreshing.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I can't let go
Yeah.
of advertising for my current one. I just have to keep doing it. But I think that's something that we're all learning. And it is interesting
Yeah.
to hear that you have a little bit of a dedicated budget, a monetary budget for advertising in certain media. I think a lot of indie authors do have it, but maybe I know a lot of my friends probably put their money towards events and appearing in like physical places. Is that
Mhm.
something that you do as well, like book signings?
No, no, no,
Ah,
no, I don't,
interesting.
because that
Yeah.
only reaches a very small number of people. I
Yeah.
do go to the occasional local book fair. I mean, I've got two
Yep.
coming up. I've got one in Totnes,
Yep.
which is the southwest, in November, and one at a book fair at the University of Gloucestershire,
Oh, great.
which will have a lot of their creative writing students and English literature students going there.
That's
So
a
that
good
will be quite
idea.
interesting. But no, I
Yeah.
prefer to use my advertising stream to reach the wider public, English speaking public, in places like Australia, America.
Yeah.
Because what I'm writing at the moment is about the Cotswolds, and the Cotswolds seems to be very
Yes.
popular with Americans.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that for some reason, but that's
No,
interesting.
particularly J.D. Vance, when he turned up and closed,
Oh,
he was here over the summer. You see,
interesting.
it's
Yep.
it's the Cotswolds. If you hashtag Cotswolds
Yep.
in any of your social media, it immediately gets
That's
picked up by
such an
lots of
interesting
people.
synastry. How you've written something that's in the Cotswolds, and all of a sudden America's now gone, oh, what is this place? We need to see more of it.
Yeah,
It's funny how things work out like that. But yeah,
it is. Yeah.
it does sound like a really interesting area. And I think that makes sense. Your business and your marketing plan makes sense with the type of audience that you're interested in having read your books too. So I think you're doing an amazing job with all of this. And social media is always there as, another
Yes,
conduit to get
yes,
things out.
it
So
is.
I've just seen
And
on
also, I
my,
think the
okay.
demographic the demographic that I'm tending to write for aren't the TikTok generation.
Yep.
They're more Facebook, Instagram, even X, formerly known as Twitter. It's
Yep.
that sort of demographic, not because I think that TikTok does seem to be more sort of under 30s,
Yep.
under 25s, around that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Give or take depending on what the subject matter is.
Yeah.
But for books, yeah, I think that romantasy genre seems to do really well on TikTok.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's something to keep in mind as well. With you have a newsletter too, is that right? Do you find
Yes, I do.
yeah? How do you find that
Yeah, it goes. I only do it, when on the first of the season, so I do
Ah,
4 a year,
yep.
because I sometimes find that it was weighing heavily on my mind. Oh, I've got to have something up for the first. I've got to have
Yes.
something. And I thought, no, actually, because the natural world is very important in everything I write.
Yeah.
Well, let's link it into the seasons.
Perfect. That's great.
So 4 times a year, that's it. And I try to give some freebies. I give a free short story, or my December one, hopefully, will be a link to a little rom-com I wrote a few years ago that I'm now putting out. It'll be out there, and I'll give it away for free to most people. You know, that's what I want to
That's
do. It's called the
lovely.
Rudolph onesie.
I was just I was wondering if there was something to do with like a Christmas romance kind of thing because people
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that. It's the time to kind of just go, there's just some
yeah,
happy vibes in the air. And I
yeah,
always watch Love Actually
yeah,
around the time, the
yeah. So
movie.
it's a little rom-com to say thank you to people who get use my follow me on my newsletter and that sort of thing. So
It's wonderful. I love that. That's a really clever idea there. And I will get into the next set of questions that I have, which is in discussion of one of your latest publications, which is It's an Ill Wind, a DS Mulroney mystery. And so this is the start of the Mulroney mystery series?
yes, there's 6 of them that
Yes.
or planned. Uh, 3 have been completed, 1 published, the next one will be published next year, and then it'll carry on. So
Wow.
for the next 6 years, my work's set out for me.
Yes, your
Um,
work is set out for you. Wow, I'm excited though. I think that you've got a good
yeah,
schedule.
that, uh,
Yeah,
and it's set in Gloucestershire, but in a
Gloucestershire.
town that I've made up myself called Morton-on-Avon.
Mm-hmm.
Avon meaning river.
Yep.
So, that fits with the River Severn. And people who know the area are trying to guess which places I've used because I've actually set it in various sites around Gloucestershire.
Mm.
Morton-on-Avon is very much like Stroud, and
Yep.
we've got Gloucester City nearby, which is where the headquarters of the police are.
Yep.
We've got a university, which is the University of Gloucestershire, which is just up the road. And so I've tried to set it in areas, but not make it very specific.
Yep.
So people are saying, "Oh, I thought that girl lived in that house by the police station, but of course that row of houses is further down, so you can't actually
I
pinpoint
know
it,
it. I love
but
that.
it's close enough."
I think that's brilliant because people will be, if they know the area and they'll pick it up and go, oh, I feel like I know this place, but I don't. It's a
Yeah,
parallel
yeah,
universe
yeah.
that
Yes,
you've
yes,
created. Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's so cool. So we did talk a little bit about how long it took to write your first novel in the series, which I'm guessing did that follow the same structure of your writing group of September to December?
Well, not really, because I actually
Mm.
started this. I decided I thought I'd like to have a go at writing a thriller.
Ah,
So
yes.
I joined Curtis Brown Literary Agency creative writing department and did one of their courses online.
Ah.
Curtis Brown Creative has the most fantastic assortment of courses that you do online, and
Interesting.
you join together with a group. There might be 50 of you, and there's some teaching, but again, you access it in your time.
Yeah.
So the module will be released on a Tuesday, so you can access it. There's a task for you to do by the Saturday, and then they expect you to critique. So I think it's 5 other people's work
Wow.
before you start again, before you
Interesting.
go to the next module. And so
Hmm.
it was over a 3 months period. And I thought, I'd really like a thriller. I had this idea of this girl seeing her lover and realizing he was the man who tried to kill her. So that
So
was the
dark.
theme. Unfortunately, by about 10,000, 15,000 words in, I realized I quite liked the story of the police officer as well. So what
Interesting.
started off as was going to be a first person thriller written
Yes.
from the girl's point of view became
Ah.
a 3 strand story. First person is still the girl.
Yes.
Second person, or the viewpoint is the policeman and the
Yeah.
investigations, and then fitting in just little snippets is the guy that she falls in love with,
So
who's the
interesting.
well the baddie. Yeah,
The baddie. She's fallen for the bad boy.
yeah, she has, but
How
she doesn't
good.
know it,
She
and she
doesn't know
doesn't
it.
know it until 3 chapters from the end. So I
Oh,
wanted
love
again
it.
the reader to be going, he's awful. Don't believe him. Don't follow him.
I'll be like, oh
Don't
my
take any
God.
notes of him. Yeah.
No. But you say that, like, I feel like we all have had a friend like that too, where we've gone,
Yeah.
we know, don't
We
go there, don't go there, but people do. And I love reading
can
stories.
see it.
And
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And you're helpless. So I wanted the reader to feel that same helplessness as
Yes.
Rachel gets drawn in.
Oh, because I'm sure we'll get into more of the characters as well about Rachel, but I'm sure there's probably a growth or some sort of like exploration into her character and maybe making, I guess, well, I guess the wrong decision eventually to pursue a romance with someone who's really not good for her. But there is something that I know I just mentioned before, people we've come in contact with
Mm.
that do that. But there is sort of that human side where like, even though you're screaming at them, don't do it, you silly person. But yet there's the other side of you that's got a lot of empathy for going, oh, you poor thing. Oh my goodness, how did you, I don't know, like, why did you do that? So was that something that played on your mind a little bit when you were writing a character that was falling in love with the wrong person?
Yes, and also I wanted the wrong person for the reader to think, well, actually, he's not that bad, and he's
Ah,
trying to change. So
interesting.
will he change before, will it work out? It might work out. Is he the hero, the fallen hero? Is it, can he be rehabilitated?
Yes.
Can he change? There's hope
Oh, and
there.
that's that other part too, where they say, I can fix him, I can change him, or they're making progress,
Yes, yeah, he's okay. Yeah,
and you just don't know where
yeah,
it's going to go. Do
no,
people ever
no,
change?
yeah,
I
yeah,
love stories like that. I love
yeah.
stories like that because it's so relatable and it just gets you thinking and it kind of can develop your sense of empathy for seeing people
Mm,
that on the surface you go, oh, what are you doing? But
mm,
actually, there's a lot
mm,
more to it, which I'm sure
yes,
is
yeah.
explored. So we've kind of answered the question about how long it took you to write It's an
Yeah, so
Alien.
it that was yeah, so it was really that course that I
Yes.
took, and then I left it for a while because I wasn't quite certain. Thought, well, if I needed to have the police side of it, I needed
Mm,
to get a bit more information upon that. I needed to do a bit of research about that. And so I
yeah.
came back to it a couple of years later, and then thought, yeah, I'll make a go of it, and then took it through. Actually, no, I didn't take this to Catchers. This went to some crime writers who were
Ah,
offering their services as beta readers.
love it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
one was a former crime scene investigator. So I
Oh,
thought, well, she will know whether I've got the police stuff right.
that's
The other
perfect.
one was a crime writer,
Yeah.
an established crime writer. And the third one was just an experienced writer of mysteries. So I gave it to them. And they gave me some feedback, and I worked on it. And I thought, right, this is it. This is ready to go now.
Perfect. I
So
think that's
let's get started.
amazing. You found the right people for it. And were there any sort of books that you read or TV shows or movies that you watched to help get you into or inspire you to start writing this thriller?
All of them, all of the shows that I write are sort of what I call middle of the road. I don't like the real
Yep.
cozy
Hmm.
Miss Marple, Midsummer Murders, and
Yep.
I don't like the really gory, every scene is black and gloomy and they're all horrible inner city.
Yeah.
So it tends to be things like Vera
Yep.
by, Inspector George Gently,
Hmm.
which is set in the 60s, 70s. A Touch of
Touch of Frost.
Frost with
Yes.
the David Jason,
Yep.
Inspector Frost. Yeah, those sorts of ones, which I would consider they're in the middle.
Yep.
They're
Bit of
they're
both.
neither cozy, neither really ultra violent, but we focus upon getting the clues and where the
Yes.
clues are.
Yep. I love that. I think that's really good that you've got a good selection to draw on your influences there. That
Mhm.
is very interesting. So, what did draw you to settle on writing the thriller crime novel? Because I know you said that you had dabbled in maybe, or you said erotica and then romance, and then you settled on the thriller part of it. So, how did that journey come about?
I think it's more to do with the thriller, and not necessarily the thriller, but the investigation around it, because it's like a jigsaw. You know where you're going to start, and you know the person, you want them to get caught at the end. So what are the clues that you can drop in, like a jigsaw puzzle? And it's an incredibly good, I think it's an intellectual exercise.
Oh, yeah, that would like do me a little bit like
Is dropping in and thinking, oh, little things like in the current one, the girl says, oh yeah, we were only together for a few weeks. And at the end of the conversation, she says, yeah, it was about 6 months. And I want the reader to pick up, as the police do, since when did few weeks become 6 months?
Yes.
Let's ask her more. So there's that little clue there. So is this person telling the truth or not? So it's little things like that that I find I really enjoy dropping in.
I think that's so interesting because that's something that I know that with my current body of work that I'm writing, which is fantasy and elemental fantasy, there are clues that I have to drop in that only I know about, but it does take a little bit of like it's probably one of the hardest parts for me to work out what I'm going to do and hopefully people can get it. So I can imagine for you that was a bit of a, yeah, as you said, intellectual exercise, like a jigsaw, where you really had to
It's a
think.
jigsaw. Yeah. And that's why when you go through the second, when you written the first draft and you read it through again, you realize, how did they know? Oh, I better put a CCTV camera in there. I need to write a scene in which they get some CCTV footage, so that you're really thinking, okay, that all flows together. Towards this sort of
because readers will
final
find it.
picture.
They'll find out. The readers will pick up if there's things that they're like, but that person, and I'm sure you find the same when you're watching a movie or a TV show where you go, what? They forgot about that. They forgot about this. So I'm glad you have taken.
Or you can hone in in films and on TV shows. You go, why is the camera focusing upon that character? And why is he looking and glaring like that? You know, just little things like that as well.
Like who's speaking.
Oh, that's a clue there.
Yeah, like why? Yeah, that's so true. Why are we focusing on this detail? Or even if you write something in, oh, this person put something in their pocket while they said something that's not related to anything what's going on there. That, I don't know what they call that, distraction. Virgin. But yeah, that's really interesting. And so looking forward, looking ahead into the future, we talked about some of your future projects, which include the 6 novels in the series for your mystery series. So you have got the first one out. We talked about that. It's an ill wind. What's the title of the second one going to be, if you've got a title?
English proverbs. So the first one, it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good.
I didn't click it.
And the second one is called Who Pays the Piper? After the phrase, who pays the piper calls the tune, because it's about a very rich man.
Oh, I love that. That's going to be interesting.
How he, and who is he? What's he doing? The third one is called A Fair Exchange. After a fair exchange is no robbery. And it's about a grooming gang preying on young girls with the lure of fake counterfeit goods.
Interesting.
Fair exchange is no robbery. I'll give you this fake counterfeit bag.
Yes.
But you let me take some photos of you.
That is so relevant as well today. I think that's going to be something, because even going back just to the second book in the series about a rich man, that is something too that seems to be a popular element in dark romances as well. Even if I link it back to, I know 50 Shades of Grey is a very what do you call it? Like a popular, everyone kind of knows it. It's not really a deep cut,
Yeah.
but there is an allure of having a character who has a lot of wealth and mystery behind it. So I could see this next book in the series going to be really interesting. And is there going to be some romance in your books further on?
There's often relationships, yes.
Yep.
So this second one, a young man is found floating in the River Severn. And is it suicide or has he been dumped in there? His body is traced back to an eco commune that this rich man has set up.
Oh.
And of course, that fits very much with the southwest of England, where we have a lot of alternative type people who live here. So, and it's a story of what happens within the commune, and there's relationships within that as well.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that about the Southwest. There we go.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Places like Glastonbury.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, it's very strong around here. Very strong.
That is, yeah, because there's also those type of people that you don't know exactly what goes on in those sort of communes as well, living off
Exactly.
the grid.
Exactly.
And so a lot of things can be hidden because, yeah, I just wonder.
So what happened to this young man? What happened to him?
Yeah,
it's the story of what happened to him.
Wow, I absolutely.
And how and how very rich people, a bit like the Great Gatsby.
Yes.
How when he describes Tom and Daisy, how the rich can retreat into their wealth and protect themselves from the outside world.
That happens all the time. I was just watching a documentary or something about that with the comedian and the talk show host Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And how
she's moved to the Cotswolds.
I heard that too. That's why I was like, oh my, yes, Americans moving over to the Cotswolds. And I just thought, yeah, because they were saying in this documentary how, you know, she was kind of poo-pooed from society and, you know, it came out that she wasn't really a nice person. But at that point, her career was so influential that she'd made so much money. She didn't have to work anymore. And I think she's like 67 years old now. So she's in retirement. Just disappears. So I don't know. Yeah.
Which is exactly what one of the main characters can do.
Love it.
Just disappear.
They can, can't they? Or can they? I don't know. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I think that's very great. So we've got,
and one of the things that's happening over the 6 books is that you come across the characters in the previous ones.
Yes, because there is obviously, we've got DS Mulroney who's going on a big transition to become who he is. So he goes on a big journey too, where he starts off as someone who does he start off as just an inspector and then he becomes the lead?
He just starts off as an ordinary
policeman,
police officer, but he's brought in as a detective because the detective chief inspector thinks we think alike. Your way of working is like mine. I want to nurture you.
Yes.
I want to bring you on. I can see your potential.
Yep. And so so he's got a mentor and that person will carry him through and then you'll see a lot of growth. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that will be revealed in the next couple of books that are coming out. So I should start also to wrap up from this chat because I realize we've almost it's almost 7 o'clock for me.
Yes.
10 o'clock for you. So I shall ask
10 o'clock, yes.
I know. So I should ask my final question. Where can people find you if they want to get in contact with you, either on social media or on a website or anything like that?
There's any social media platforms and I'll respond. So just type in Pam Keevil on Twitter or on X or Pam Keevil on Instagram. But my website is www.pamkeevil.com.
Perfect.
And that's a really good way. And it's so easy to remember.
Easy to remember. That's perfect. You got in good there with the domain name. You got in quick. You won't be giving up that domain anytime soon, I think.
No.
I love that. And also, we talked about that you're going to be at an in-person event in
So Saturday, the 22nd of November, I will be in Totnes at their Totnes Book Fair.
Yep.
Which is rather lovely. And Saturday, the 29th of November, I will be at the University of Gloucestershire's book event in Cheltenham.
Perfect. So if people are around that area, please go check out Pam. That would be amazing. And so also finally, where can people purchase books of yours?
It's all through Amazon.
Perfect. That is very accessible.
Easy, one place to find them. And easy.
E-books as well. And the paperbacks. Done.
Yeah.
Easy to access.
All done.
Amazing. Yes. Well, with that, I should say a massive thank you, Pam.
Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you.
Oh, it's been such a joy. I am so excited for you because this sound, especially with the DS Mulroney series, sounds like you've got such a solid plan and vision for what's coming next. I'm so excited. I think a lot of people are going to be really interested.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching the Indie Author Live show. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to know more about my own literary journey or the journey of some of our guests that you might have seen on the show, please consider subscribing or following my Substack or my YouTube channel. Finally, if you want to know more about my novel, Still Waters Run Deep, it is available on many distribution websites such as Amazon, Etsy, Baventi, you name it. All that information will be in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about my story to do with elemental magic and coming of age. Take care, everyone, and see you in the next episode.